What's up, guys? Welcome back to Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho. Thank you so much for watching. And guys, today we are talking about tight end out of Florida, Kyle Pitts. And guys, I am not going to bury the lead. I am not going to be contrarian in this video at all. I am a huge fan of Kyle Pitts. This is easily the best tight end in this class. And honestly, if you graded him as just a pure wide receiver, top 5 probably wide receiver in this class. That's ridiculous to say, but I 100% believe that. Guys, let's get right into the film portion of this video so I can show you exactly why I am so in love with this player out of Florida. So one of the things that you first notice when you start watching Kyle Pitts film is how seriously the defense takes him as a weapon. I have 2 plays from 2 different games where you just see the team basically bracket him on defense and say, hey, we're not going to lose to Kyle Pitts. Do whatever you have to do, but Kyle Pitts isn't going to beat us. And I mean, that's the Bill Belichick move. The defense is tipping their hand to the player they respect most on this offense. And as far as his catching ability, pass catching ability, first thing you have to point out is his ability to catch in traffic, and this is a good example of that, going up for a touchdown, high pointing the ball, and catching it between 2 dudes. Obviously, being a tight end, you're going to have to be a physical receiver. You're going to have to catch in traffic, catch over the middle, all of these things. I have no doubt that he will be very good at this at the next level. The other thing I love, you see him right here, bottom of your screen, playing the outside receiver, the X receiver essentially, just runs a basic slant route, really good release. First of all, like, has really actually good route running, not just good route running for a tight end, very good route running for a wide receiver prospect. I mean, just really good. But right here, you see him catch outside of his frame. You'll see him have to extend all the way behind him. Doesn't matter, brings it in, and then obviously is able to run for a first down. Just really good hands, soft hands, catches everything around him. I got really excited about his ability to catch just everything outside of his frame. And then here we're going to see Kyle Pitts run a really good route. You see he takes his outside release and then cuts inside and is able to high point the ball again over the corner. That's not an easy catch, but he's a big man. He's able to bring that down and then obviously just able to get as many yards after catch as possible. He's able to fight through contact very well, which I imagine he will see a lot at the NFL level. Guys are going to do everything they can to slow this dude down. I don't know if it'll work, man. I mean, he is just so physical, so explosive. And then on this play, look, I showed you his ability to beat you in the mid to short game range. He's also very dangerous down the field as well. This is a poorly thrown ball, but he's able to bring it in, throw a stiff arm at this dude, and run away from people and actually create space at the end of this play. You have to love that. Also, I'm going to show this again. You got to love the route as well. Again, I talked about at the beginning how teams were bracketing him on defense. This was the same kind of thing. These are 2 defenders that are staring him down. Doesn't matter. He is able to beat them both and obviously get a touchdown as well. Awesome player who can do just about everything you need him to do. Moving on, he is a tight end. He is going to be asked to block. That's obviously not where he's going to be able to make his money, but he is a really good blocker. We'll see him right here on the edge, set the edge as a blocker, move a man out of the way, and create plenty of room for the quarterback, who was the running back on this play. He does that constantly on the line. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's the greatest blocker of all time, but this play right here is a good example of what it looks like when he loses. Because when he loses, he doesn't really lose. Like, you don't see this dude just get blown up. But right here, you'll see him really struggle against this D tackle. This is a loss for him. This is a stalemate type of block where the defender definitely is able to manhandle him, especially in the end there. But either way, I mean, I have no problem with that. If that's him losing, I've got to feel pretty confident with him blocking. And listen, guys, when we talk about Kyle Pitts, I want him on the outside. Like, I would be totally fine if he just transitioned to wide receiver, or if he went to a team that just called him a wide receiver and he just played on the outside. Like, I think he could do it. He's a good tight end. Don't get me wrong. I'm not just sitting here saying he is a pass catcher, but guys, this could be like a George Kittle type. George Kittle is a really good blocker and somehow an even better pass catcher. Like, that is the type of guy we could be having. Now, granted, I don't think right now Kyle Pitts is as good of a blocker as a George Kittle is. I wouldn't say that at all. But I certainly think that Pitts has the ability to grow into that type of blocker, and I 100% believe in the athletic profile and the pass catching ability. I mean, guys, this could be Shannon Sharp. I mean, seriously, he could be an all-time great tight end. That's what we're talking about here. To me, we're talking about a top 5 talent in this class. Now, we get into tight end. There's a lot of other things to talk about. Before we get to that, let's get into the skill chart so I can kind of break it down in a little bit different way. All right, so first thing we got to talk about is obviously the route running. Now, route running doesn't matter as much for tight ends. Like, let's just be 100% honest. I don't grade route running that harshly, but he's really good at running his routes. He has fluid hips. He creates separation at the top of his route, has pretty good release, all the things that you want to see. Check the box plus some for me with Kyle Pitts. Athleticism, look, 7.9, that is an elite grade. We got to remember this is out of 9, and 7 to 9 is an elite level grade. Athleticism, he's just an athlete. He's an ultimate athlete. Hands, an 8.4, astounded me. I talked about it a ton during the film portion of this video, so I don't need to get into there, but needless to say, very, very good. Very physical player. You see it a lot in his blocking. This is like one of the big things that I grade on a tight end. It's actually tied with athleticism for the highest percentage of my final grade, so that means a lot to me. I want a tight end who's physical. You have to be very physical specimen and a very physical player if you want to play the tight end position at a high level. That's just something that I believe in, and he checks the box plus some for me in that regard. Pass blocking, look, 4.7. I talked about it in the video. He gets the job done. I wasn't blown away by any means. Like, there were certainly reps where it was like, okay, he didn't really win that, but not a big deal. Also, they didn't really ask him to pass block a whole lot at Florida. I watched 4 games just because I fell in love and wanted to watch a couple extra games way after I felt like I knew everything I needed to know. But I watched 4 games. I think I had like 5 or 6 snaps that I counted of pass blocking. So good grade, but there wasn't a whole lot to go off of there, just because if you're passing the ball, he needs to be running a route. That's just at the end of the story. Explosiveness off the line. This is something new that I'm grading, something new that I'm looking at, and it's, I think, really helped me kind of redefine my grades for tight ends, which I will be totally honest, I think up to this year have been lackluster at best, and I feel really good about it moving forward. I think I've kind of gotten a really, really good idea of what I'm looking for in the tight end position specifically, and explosiveness off the line is a big thing for me. It helps you grade the overall athleticism of a guy who is in a 3-point stance. I mean, it's important. Obviously, this is specifically when he is on the line of scrimmage, not when he is lining up in the slot. Granted, that's important too, but not exactly what I'm looking at. But 6.6, very, very good. Run blocking, better than I really even expected. I'll be totally honest. And again, I talked about it in the film portion of the video. I didn't spend a whole lot of time on it in the film portion, but I mean, he ran over people a lot. He won a lot more than he lost in that regard. And look, exactly like I said in the video, when he did lose, it wasn't really a loss. It was a stalemate, I would say. Like, I think there was maybe one rep where I actually saw him lose. And to be honest, I think he tripped. I think he tripped off the line, and it was just kind of a busted rep. I don't really count that against him. His release, 5.9, very, very good. No problem with that. Strength of the point of attack, again, right under that elite level. I mean, he's a very strong dude, physical guy. As we know, yards after catch, that is elite for me. I want the ball in his hands at all times. Like, that's where I'm at with this dude. And then separation, look, that's actually a little bit lower than the rest of this grade, and it was honestly almost lower than this. It was almost a negative grade until I went back and looked and realized, wait a minute, every time he's not getting like really good separation, it's when he's facing the cornerback 1 on the other team. Like, when he's facing the best corner on the other team, yeah, he's not getting the best separation. That's when he's on the outside, and you know, cornerbacks are good football players too. They got good guys in the SEC, especially at corner position, and that's not what you're asking him to do in the NFL. The tight end position at its core will really never face off against the number 1 corner on the other side. Kyle Pitts doesn't have to deal with that in the NFL. I'm not going to ask him to win that consistently in college. And to be totally honest, he won a lot of those reps as well. So, I think some people might maybe take that against him and not look into the full scope of the situation of the game. But needless to say, very, very good in that regard as well. Overall, this is just a guy that I could see coming into the NFL and being a legit difference maker day one. It's a really tough position to be in for Kyle Kyle Pitts because of the lack of positional value at the tight end position and just in general, and then the lack of need from a lot of the top teams in like that top 10 range where he deserves to go. But honestly, he would be the guy that I could think falls out of the top 10 because teams are maybe drafting on need or value a different position higher. That could happen. And honestly, I wouldn't blame any team for making that decision. You just can't. It just is what it is. And the last thing I really just want to say on Kyle Pitts, and it really just refers to dynasty players. If you're drafting rookies in your any particular lineup, first of all, if you are a tight end premium league, you're drafting him number one. I feel like you know that, or at least top three. If you're not tight end premium league, it's a tough situation to be in for drafters because we're not really used to having this like legit tight end in this position. But if you're drafting top five, he's in play. I think that's kind of the end of it. I don't care where he goes either. I don't think you draft this dude and he's not, running 25 to 30 routes per game. Like, I think he is in contention, and I think if a team is smart, you draft this guy and you have 5 plays a week that is designed for Kyle Pitts. Like, Kyle Pitts is the first and third option on 5 plays every week. That's what the 49ers do with George Kittle. When you have a top player like this, that is what you do. But all right, guys, that is all I have on Kyle Pitts. Just so you guys know, I'm going to start putting out these videos on Monday and Thursday instead of Monday and Friday. So if you got really used to that Friday video coming out, you can expect it a day early. I'm going to be putting it out on Thursday, really just because the YouTube algorithm just doesn't like me as much on Friday, and I'm still a pretty small channel, so I kind of rely on the YouTube algorithm to get out there. So I want to put these videos out in the best possible time frame. So it's going to start being Mondays and Thursdays because that'll help me out just a little bit. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff really helps me out. Leave a comment down below if there's anybody else you would like me to do a draft profile on. I will be back Thursday for another draft profile video, doing another tight end from Florida. Can't wait to talk about him. Peace.